He did not fail the world. The world failed him. Soulja Boy is the best superhero ever. I'm gonna make the argument, not just on a cool level, but from a character level too. Yes, I'm gonna make the argument. What are people's go-to superheroes now? Spider-Man, Superman, bunch of nerds, for God's sakes. They all suck compared to him. Not Daredevil, he's still my boy. But I will make the argument right here with evidence that Soulja Boy is the greatest superhero ever, and we all need to appreciate that man more. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate, and maybe a lot of love, depending on where you're at with this character, for this video. Alright? I might even get demonetized. I don't know why I let my assistant talk me into making this video. Mother's Milk will definitely disagree with me. That guy was gonna want me dead after this, but just hear me out. Hear me out, okay? I promise you, you'll come away with a different perspective. Now, a lot of people say, is Soulja Boy the most base character we've seen on TV ever since his entrance into The Boys? Well, maybe he might be. In my opinion, no. The most base character on TV is Ray from Mr. In-Between. If you know, you know. I'm gonna make a whole video on how cool this dude is. All right? Maybe Guts from Berserk. Maybe. I'm not counting anime in this either, so please, anime fans, don't come filing into my comments with all these different characters you think, but please. But these are base characters, but Soulja Boy is in those rankings. Now, what makes a goated superhero? What really makes a go-to superhero? Well, our classical heroes are not as popular as the more complex ones now. The anti-heroes, some would say. People like the complex and the flawed. Flaw being the key word here. You know, we got Punisher, Deadpool, Wolverine, The Crow, Riddick, John Wick. All these people. We like them. Why? They're not the traditional hero. Okay, they're questionable, a lot of them, and the things they do. They don't do the traditional hero things. They're anti-heroes, but there's something about them. There's just the darkness, the grittiness behind them. It resonates with people a lot. Why? Well, let's take a character like Captain America. Captain America virtually has no flaws in these movies. Okay, this dude's almost perfect. He's a perfect specimen physically and no will, but he's also morally, personality-wise, this dude does no wrong. What's his sin? What's his main sin? Oh, he didn't tell Tony about the fact that Bucky killed his parents. Get the hell out of here. Really, that's it? Come on. He left the Avengers to tap Peggy. Listen, based. I'll give you that. Soulja Boy would like leave his team to go clap some cheeks. I will agree with her. You could say that is a flaw within. He fell for the. It's Haley Atwell. Can you really blame him? Okay. But besides that, this dude's perfect. He's literally perfect. Soulja Boy, though, he's real. When we see Soulja Boy, listen, why are we acting like Steve Rogers is the most interesting man in the room when he speaks? You love to see him fight. This guy is my favorite Avenger. I love Steve Rogers, but he's not the most interesting guy in the room. You want to hear everything Soulja Boy has to say. You want to hear his takes, no matter how dumb or crazy or schizo they are. You want to just hear what this guy has to say. He's so interesting. He has got a little different aura about him. He's also bad. Okay, let's start with the superficial stuff. He's badass. He's powerful as hell. He's the only dude who's been able to really go toe to toe with Homelander. All right, he might be, and some people might think he's more powerful. He can fry the V from Homelander's blood, but he can also fight him. Now, Homelander is definitely stronger than Soulja Boy, but Soulja Boy is more durable. We've seen Soulja Boy being experimented on in the lab. People are taking AK-47s and grenade launchers and sticking them into his mouth. I'm sorry. Homelander, you got beaten up a bit by Maeve. You were bleeding at the hands of Maeve. Soulja Boy ain't bleeding at... I love Maeve, but Soulja Boy ain't bleeding at the hands of Maeve. Maybe Maeve could seduce Soulja Boy, and that way she could get, one up on him, but that's it. Like, Soulja Boy's not losing or getting his ass beat or getting bloodied by Maeve. It's just never happening, okay? It's not... What the hell is this? What the fuck? Macro! For fuck's sake, that isn't even the right goddamn Maeve. I'm firing my assistant as soon as this goddamn video is done. Now, let's talk about the flaws. I remember, flaws are what make these superheroes interesting. He doesn't listen. He doesn't take rejection well. He tried to hit on Grace Mallory. She told him all these women are afraid of you, and he he called her. I can't even say the word on YouTube, but he clearly doesn't take. He's not aware of how he treats women. Doesn't treat women the best. His girlfriend hated him for a reason, right? He might have been abusive. I don't know. He doesn't treat people the best. He's a bit of a bully, but he respects the elderly. He's grown. I can show you systematically how Soulja Boy has a flaw, but he grows from it. He didn't respect women in the past. Now, he loves elderly women. He gives them their due respect. It's not my cup of tea, but you can't knock him for it. You have to give him credit for being as progressive as he is. He doesn't give... Soulja Boy's the kind of guy who would give shit to people on their appearance and shit on older women, all right? Now, he loves older women. He respects them. A lot of people don't respect their elders these days. You gotta give him that, all right? He was a bully. He bullied the shit out of his entire team. They hated him for a reason. They threw him to the Russians for a reason, right? He's a bully. We have to get that across. But, let's just be honest. Soulja Boy lacks self-awareness. He lacks awareness of social dynamics. In his eyes, that was just camaraderie. He had a father who was neglectful, verbally abusive, emotionally abusive. So in his eyes, what he was doing with his team was like compassionate and loving in his own twisted way. Oh God, this is not a good argument, but you know what I mean. It's not great. It's not a great look for my boy. But he learned from his father's ways. And he was completely different with the way he even said, I don't want to treat Homelander the way my father did. I want to be a better father than my father was. He felt guilty about trying to kill Homelander for Butcher. He even told Homelander over the phone, I would have let you take the spotlight if I knew. Unlike Homelander, who's literally trying to fucking manipulate his son's image and make it all about his ego for Vought, Soulja Boy's different. He's learning from his dad's ways. He doesn't want to be like that. Let's address the allegations. The main ones. Mother's Milk main allegation is Soulja Boy's a racist, right? He doesn't like certain folk. Is this true? Well, this is where it gets a bit hairy. Is he racist? Maybe a little bit. A little bit, probably. We're going to square this, though. We're going to address this right now. Soulja Boy is basically what happens if, realistically, what would happen if Captain America woke up after coming back from the 40s or the 50s, whenever. That dude might be a bigot. We've seen memes about this. He might be a bigot, guys. He might be sexist, homophobic, racist. He was in a different time. He's gonna look at things weirdly now. He's gonna be like, what the hell is going on? That's realistically what would happen to Steve Rogers, right? But eventually he would learn to adapt, be a better man, accept people, be compassionate to all people. Soulja Boy has shown a capacity to do this. How? I'll tell you. Soulja Boy has attended multiple Herogasms. He's admitted this himself. Herogasms have the most sexual degeneracy of any elitist party. Different men are hooking up with men, threesomes, all that stuff. Soulja Boy witnessed probably a lot of sexual activity that he wouldn't do, but he was down for it because he was down to party. When it comes down to it, Soulja Boy he's not hating these people for their orientations, right? He might find them weird, and he might not be afraid to say it, but he doesn't care at the end of the day when the time comes. Here's another thing about let's address the racism, okay? He grew up in a racist environment. At least racism was more normalized. His dad was definitely a racist. He probably grew up with the same ideals that his dad had. Also, he and Lady Liberty, otherwise known as Stormfront, whatever the hell her name is, the literal Nazi, were chilling all the time. She was probably talking mad shit about certain people in front of him, right? She probably was, even though she was undercover at the time and no one knew what she was actually doing the entire time. She and him probably talked mad shit. He hung around people who had those racist tendencies, but he's grown from it. Why? His hero is Bill Cosby, the molester himself. He says Bill Cosby is America's dad. No Nazi or white supremacist would be caught dead saying those words. He's hung out with him. Listen, you could say, oh, well, there are some racists who love Kanye because of the wild stuff he's done and all that. You could say that. You can make that argument, but here's the difference. Soulja Boy has chilled with Bill Cosby multiple times. They've had drinks, strong drinks. Soulja Boy's been so comfortable that he looked past the skin color and looked at the man and respected him as America's dad. He probably got fucked by Bill Cosby while he was asleep. You're telling me a racist would allow that? No. Now let's talk about Mother's Milk's family, okay? This is not a good look for my boy, all right? Soulja Boy murdered them. Murder is a strong word. He killed them with a car. Well, I'm gonna address this, okay? Is it because he's racist? It's not because he's racist, okay? It's because he's high. Soldier Boy's a drug addict, rampant drug addict. He probably does at least as much coke as I do. Plus, he's probably doing a fuck ton of other drugs that we don't know, right? He literally said that him and the soldiers were wired to the gills on D-Day. They're doing drugs while going out and fighting crime or in war. Soldier Boy's used to this, and it's a problem. It's not a good thing for a superhero to do this. And couple that with the fact that Mindstorm, who hates Soldier Boy, probably might have fucked with his mind a little bit, made him hallucinate somebody wasn't there just to make him look bad. You could see something like that happening. If you couple those two things together, Soldier Boy didn't really kill them maliciously. He probably maybe saw something blurry, his mind was blurry, and he threw a car and he shouldn't have, and he killed Mother's Milk's family. And it shouldn't have happened, but listen, there's context to the situation. We've heard Mother's Milk's side, we haven't heard the other side. Listen, hear me out here. Civil War. If I told you, without context, Tony Stark finds out Bucky brutally murdered his parents, and then Captain America and Bucky beat the shit out of him, and Tony almost dies. You're gonna think, just by hearing that, you'd be like, what the hell, what's wrong? Cap is such an asshole. But when you actually see the movie, it's a bit grayer. It's a bit more, the situation is a bit more complex than that. That's the same, I feel like it could be the same as this. Okay? You might still be on Tony's side during the scene. I was on Cap's personally, but you might still be on Tony's side, but you get the situation. And don't talk to me about the amount of collateral damage these idiots have caused. The Hulk and Iron Man alone have brutally blown up and murdered a bunch of people without even knowing it and flown off. Tony Stark is an asshole. Even in the comics, he's an asshole, right? You can't... Sometimes shit happens. People die. And there's a whole movie called Civil War about this. About them facing consequences by a hypocritical government. Now, I don't think he killed them maliciously. I think he just killed them. And he was on drugs, maybe. Oh, God, Soldier Boy. Now, he does show remorse, though. People think he doesn't show remorse. This is one problem. He accidentally blasted an entire city block with his power beam. And then with Huey, he shows where he says, I didn't mean to kill all those people. I'm not a bad guy. He feels bad. He's coping with the fact that he just did that. Him being a soldier and fighting through things is his way of coping about the guilt of the crimes he's caused. You guys need to realize that. And now we're going to look at the positive side of him. He always keeps his promises. He's a man of honor. His dad said, you got to contribute to society. You're useless. So what does he do? He goes to the Vought trials to become a soldier and save America, fight for his country. His dad says, fuck you, you're a cheat. You took an easy way out, right? He got screwed over. He helps Butcher through and through. Even though it's his own son, Homelander, that he's to kill, he keeps his word to Butcher. Butcher is the one who blindsides him. And Soldier Boy gets fucked up by the whole team. Soldier Boy leads the troops for his own government against multiple people in multiple wars, and they still blindside him and send him to the Russians and replace him with Homelander. Soldier Boy is always a man of his word. It's other people who fuck him up, fuck him over. That's why he's as fucked up as he is. It's not his fault. And he loved the Red Crimson Countess chick. He did love her in his own horrible way. He's not perfect, but he has a good heart somewhere buried beneath all the horse shit. And compared to what he's in the comics he's literally a pocket bitch for Homelander. He literally gets molested every 2 seconds. This is an improvement over a comic book character like no other I've seen. Okay? And as a character, he elevated season 3. Season 3 without Soldier Boy, if you really look into it, it's not that great. And you know how you know that? Is because season 4 felt really hollow without Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy did a lot more carrying than we probably knew in season 3. Even me, as someone who loved season 3, even me, I'd have to admit this. If you can elevate an entire season by being only in it for like 4 episodes, bro, you're a different level of character. No, not many superhero characters can say they've done that. Okay? He's not a good, realistically speaking, in all seriousness, he's not a good dude. But he's a great character, and we have to keep that in mind, all right? I'm really scared for that new show about him and Stormfront being in it together, the Vought Rising prequel. I really don't want them to make him like a Nazi dude. I really hope they don't do that, because that would fucking destroy this entire video and make me look like a dumbass. All right? Those are my thoughts. If you want to know my thoughts on The Boys and why it declined, then watch that video here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. If you want to suggest video topics to me, and discuss your favorite movies and your favorite film theories with like-minded fans in a community geared towards changing storytelling itself, join my free Discord right now. The link is in the description and probably in the comment section too. Join it. We're changing the game one Coke line at a time. See you on the other side.